Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm definitely not Vlad, and you're watching me pug my way to 3k rating on a Blood DK in Dragonflight Season 3. No, 4. Now it's 4. Yes. Well, I'm recording this in Season 3, but this is going to be a Season 4 series, because this episode Anyway, I was about to say this episode I'm leveling, so you're going to watch me level my Blood DK. And then in the next episode, we can get to some early Season 4 gearing and some Season 4 Mythic Plus. I've had a bit of practice with Blood DK, but I think the highest key I've done is like a 15 or something, so I don't think I'm particularly experienced with it, and I've made a bunch of mistakes in those keys, so I feel like, I know what the class is supposed to do, but I'm not exactly great at it, so there's plenty of room for improvement. But I know enough to not completely stumble and mumble my way through this, so let's get started. The way I'm going to actually do this is I'm going to show you a dungeon at every 10 levels. So a dungeon at level 10, then another dungeon at level 20, then another dungeon at level 30, you get the idea. And then I'll also show you the dungeon in which I go from level 69 to level 70. For pretty much every single series, I have been leveling in TBC dungeons and sometimes time walking and sometimes Dragonflight normal dungeons. This is because TBC dungeons are the most efficient, but considering I'm only going to be doing one dungeon every 10 levels that I show you, like in the video, figure I may as well show you one from anything other than TBC. So I'm going to be queuing up for Wrath of the Lich King, classic dungeons, so on and so forth. So hopefully that spices things up a bit more than watching me do Underrot for 52 times. Not Underrot, that's the wrong expansion. Underbog, that's the one with the mushroom people. Anyway, let's actually get started. Alrighty, so first things first, we're going to have to do some setting up to make sure that I have all of my nice little profiles, such as bartender, and make sure that everything's set up the way I like it to be set up.
One eternity later.
Alrighty, we have set everything up. I put down my skills, I set up my little chat windows. I have one separate for loot, one for trade chat. I won't be able to set this up until I get into a city, actually. One for guild chat, that is mainly so I can ignore guild chat, because I'm never in any guilds, other than ones that are there for the perks. Put down my toys, got rid of my Hearthstone, got rid of my other gear, put on my heirlooms, all that good stuff. Now I need to kneel in front of or yell at the Lich King, select a reward, and move on. Oh, I guess I should also choose a spec so that my WeakAuras show up, and also so that I can have a spec and get the abilities I need. That sounds like a good idea. I don't know if I should grab anti-magic shell or if I should just go down the raised dead so I can get cleaving strikes sooner. I don't know what's best, but I guess I'll be leveling pretty quickly, so it doesn't really matter. I'll go down the raised dead thing. So I chose a Maghar Orc. The reason I chose a Maghar Orc is because they are the most normal looking, sort of normally proportioned player models that you can get, and also because they're decent, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have much of a reason. I just like the way they look. Oh, and there goes the the spam in the services channel. I don't need the services channel. I just want the trade one. We're gonna set down our innkeeper in here, and then we'll go talk to Chromie, and we'll choose a expansion. I'm thinking Cataclysm, because then I can get into the classic dungeons, and those are pretty fun. I like those, even if they are a bit long. Now, one thing I do not like about thingy thing with the stuffy stuff, hold on, where is it? There it is. One thing I don't like about Cataclysm dungeons, or rather one thing I don't like about DKs is what I wanted to say. My brain's a bit scattered here because I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. But one thing I don't like about DKs is just how shit they are as tanks early on. I don't even have Heart Strike yet. I have Death and Decay, and that's my only AoE. So I need to go around dropping D&D on enemies and punching them with Rune Strike or whatever. I don't have Heart Strike. I don't even have Marrow Rend, which is the only way for me to generate bone shields. I basically have nothing. And that is not very good. So as we get started here, it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride, but luckily classic dungeons are fairly easy and we get our abilities fairly quickly. So by the time we were level 20 and recording another dungeon, I'll be able to actually do something useful, such as Blood Boil. Once you get Blood Boil, your aggro issues are basically solved. However, you have another issue then, which is survivability. You don't really get that beefy as a Blood DK until you have all of your cooldowns. So basically, once you have Icebound Fortitude, once you have Vampiric Blood, and anti-magic shell, and I think also the talent that makes Lichborn also reduce the damage taken by 15%. There you go, Unholy Endurance right there. Until you have all of that, you're kind of squishy, even with your bone shield charges. So a very good talent to have is actually Grip of the Dead, which is also later on, but it slows down enemy movement when you drop down your D&D. That way you can drop the D&D and run away, because that's all you can do. So we got, I forget what this dungeon's called. Earthsong Falls? I don't think that's what the name of the dungeon is. I think this is some part of Maraudon. Now people are already running ahead and doing their thing. I have some very annoying WeakAuras to deal with here because I don't currently have any way to generate bone shield charges. So I'm gonna have this thing over here glowing and telling me that I need bone shield charges, even though I can't get any. Also, my transmog and gear looks weird because I don't have any gold on this character. One of the rules that I have is that I cannot send myself any gold until I'm level 70, so I have to buy myself stuff with the gold. Where is my Death Strike? Why don't I have Death Strike on my bars? So much for preparedness. People don't really give a shit about me being the tank, so they're just kind of running ahead, and that's okay because I can't really keep up anyway, and it's not like they're gonna die. It's a lobby dungeon. But yes, one of the rules is the thing I mentioned about not sending gold. I can send myself gold once I'm level 70, but I can only use it for crafting and buying consumables. I can't buy myself VOEs from like the current raid or whatever. I guess with season 4, I don't know which raid that really is. Somebody left. Oh, the healer left. That's okay. I'm a Bud DK. I say that, but I'm level 10, so basically I'm just an auto-attacking bot is what I am at this point. I think we can actually skip landslide, so if we just hug to the left here, we don't actually have to fight anything. I'm going to use Def's Advance to just get around a little bit quicker. And D&D here, so I have some AoE damage. But yes, another rule is I can only pug, which means I cannot invite people I know, and I cannot, whatchamacallit, stay in a group with people after I finish a dungeon, because I don't consider that pugging anymore. There were some rule changes in my previous series, but I've come to the point where I don't want to stay in a group with people after finishing a run. I just find a new group every run, and that's been working out just fine. I have no way to heal myself, so I'm going to run away, and hopefully my friends here can just murder. Okay, maybe I need to fight them just so that I can... Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna die. Ugh. As you can tell, my healing is not substantial, and there is no one who can heal me. I guess the monk could heal me, but they're choosing not... Oh, they are healing me. Thank you, monk. Eufia, or Jufia. I don't know how they pronounce that. What other rules do I have? Let me think. I guess I have to reach 3k rating is another rule, obviously. That's what ends the series. And another thing is I'm going to... I can't... Oh... Okay. So what I just did is I used Lichborn to turn myself undead, and then I used Death Coil on myself to heal myself a bunch, and that actually healed a whole crap ton. And Death Coil is actually cheaper than Death Strike at the moment. Obviously, I can only use this when I have, Lichborn active. Oh, I'm so gonna die here. I'm gonna run away from her. I'm gonna taunt her and run away. I bet she got taunted a lot in high school for her physique. But we survived. That's good. And I even got a quest to turn in.
Are you body shaming?
No, I'm saying they were jealous. Danny just, I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but Danny just asked me if I was body shaming. But we survived our first dungeon without a healer. Ha, it's totally because blood decays are overpowered and not just because people are one-shotting things, and it doesn't matter. Oh, I got blood fortification, which increases, I believe, my stamina by a whole bunch. Yes, 30% more stamina. You don't even have that until you reach level 11? That's kind of stupid. Anyway, that was the first dungeon. You'll see the next one once I hit level 20. Well, I'm about to finish this Underbog run. I've been trying to hit level 20, but, well, I have hit level 20, but once I turn these quests in, I'm going to hit level 21. But I wanted to share this moment with you, I guess. I will go into a dungeon now, and then we can do the level 21 instead of the level 20 experience. But the difference is minuscule, if any at all. I'm just going to leave because I don't want to do a TBC dungeon. I'm doing them while I'm not recording because that way it's just faster for me to level. But when I do record, I'm not going to do TBC dungeons, so you guys get something different from every other time I've done a series before. I finally get Death's Caress, so I have something other than Marrow Rend to keep up my bone shield. I've also made my WeakAura not show me the thing unless I already have Marrow Rend. That way, basically, you have to have Marrow Rend in order to be able to generate bone shield. I guess you could go down this path and then you can generate bone shield before you have Marrow Rend, but realistically, you want to get Marrow Rend because you want Vampiric Blood early on as well. Anyway, I am going to do a Wrath of the Lich King dungeon. Let's see which one we get. I'm also going to go and grab, I think I can get 2 more bags, which is exactly how many I need. I think they're about 45 gold each. I've bought 2 already, and now I can get 2 more, and then I'm all done. I also bought a reagent bag because they come in handy. You get little bits of materials like this that just clog up your inventory otherwise, so I like getting one even early on. That's 1 and that's 2. Let me also get rid of this quest. I'm not going to go to Northrend. There we go. And that's a 1 and a 2. And now we have, now this is some bag space. I can get behind this. So you see that I'm saving these satchels of helpful goods and otherworldly satchels of helpful goods. The reason I'm doing that is because they will open, when you open them, you get loot for the level you are currently, not the level you are when you get them. So you can open them at maximum, I think, level 60. Obviously, you can open them at 70 as well, but they won't scale past 60. So you should open them at level 60 and get some nice off pieces to flesh out your gear. Or if you don't have heirlooms, it comes in handy so you can get the necessary item level to be able to queue for whatever it is you want to queue for. You can also open them early if you need item level in order to be able to do, I think, like leveling or time walking things. I don't know if those have item level requirements. If they do, these might help you if you don't have heirlooms. If you have heirlooms, you're probably going to have enough item level to get into whatever you want. At level 30, you start getting green bags or little boxes or chests or whatever. Those will generate loot for you at the level you got them at. So if you get them at level 30, open them at level 40, you're going to get level 30 piece of gear. Not worth saving. So you just open them when you get them and use the gear. Now let's see which dungeon we get. Ooh, Drak'Tharon Keep. I'm pleasantly surprised. I was expecting Algeth'ar Keep or the Nexus. Those are much more common, but I will take this. Even though the last quest at the end is really annoying and you have to wait for a really long time, I'll still take it. I have quite a few cooldowns available to mitigate damage, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull like crazy all the way up to that one big room. I used a movement speed ability to make sure that I can just keep moving and grabbing all of these. I want to make sure that I have Blood Boil active on all of these guys, or rather Blood Plague, because that'll passively just give me health back as it leeches it off of them. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to fight them here. You'll notice I'm trying to keep my bone shield up. By the way, all these WeakAuras, those are available off the Discord. You can find the link to the DNV community Discord in the description of the video. I always put it there. I'm going to pull this whole room and I'm going to do so by using all of my cooldowns. I have to yoink this big guy back towards me because somebody just started blasting them before I could really get aggro on them, but that's perfectly fine. Gotta make sure I keep my bone shield stacks up. I can put another D&D down. You seem to have 3 Death Knights in the same run, I just realized. That's... wow. This is like a once in a blue moon kind of thing. I really don't see many Death Knights, like, ever, anywhere in the game. They're just kind of rare, I think. I don't know why. They're a really cool class. I've been enjoying playing Blood. I remember back in Wrath of the Lich King when they first introduced the class. I absolutely loved it. It's changed quite a bit since then, obviously, which, you know, you would kind of expect that considering it's been such a long time. But I remember it being extremely, like, you just had a rotation. You always knew which ability you were going to hit next because your runes always came up the same way. There weren't any procs really, not that I remember. Maybe Killing Machine procs as a Frost DK, and you could tank as any of the specs. It was really, really, really fun. I'm just going to drop a D&D up at the top of the stairs there, and I'm going to head over to whichever side the boss brings an ad in from. I'm not sure which side is going to be first. Oh, it's that side. So what we do is we just kill these ads as they come in. For each ad that you kill, one of these crystals goes away, right? So you kill 4 of those ads, and then you can fight the boss. And these mobs in the back, they don't really do anything. There's an achievement on Heroic. If you don't let any of these mobs reach the floor, you get an achievement. It's not particularly hard. You literally just stand there and beat the shit out of it. But obviously this is ancient content, so all of it is easy. I'm not bothering too much with my bone shield. The way the WeakAura works is basically as long as you are in combat and you don't have bone shield charges, it's gonna like dance here. It's really nice because it's super annoying and it makes you want to get rid of that immediately. That way you keep your bone charges up. It's one thing I've learned from playing and learning new specs is if there's something you have to keep up all the time, make it super annoying with a WeakAura if you don't have it up. Now here we need to use the quest item. So I want to make sure that people use the quest item on it. One person hasn't used it. Well, I'm hopeful that they figure it out. I'm gonna join this guild just to get the lower cooldown on my Hearthstone. Later on it'll be useful. And this is where my guild chat tab comes in handy, because then I don't have to actually see what people are saying in guild chat, because I don't care. I'm here for the perks. I'm gonna be honest, because any guild that's gonna spam invite random people that they don't know, they're just a perk guild. Let's be real. Of course there's people who are just trying to be social, right, and maybe meet some new people, but from my experience that rarely works out. People don't really talk much in guilds anymore. There's going to be a big pull here, so I'm going to use the Vampiric Blood just to sort of be a bit beefier. I'm trying to get everything aggroed, and I'm going to use some of my cooldowns, which I don't really have... I'm going to use Lichborn to get rid of that fear. I don't really have many offensive cooldowns. I have my racial ability that gives me a few stats, like some secondary stats. I think it's kind of random what it gives you. Yes, granting a random secondary stat. And I have my Raise Dead, which doesn't do much at the moment. You'll notice that I have some abilities on my bars that I don't actually have, such as anti-magic shield here, anti-magic shell, whatever. That's because I just drag the talent onto my bar before I even have it. That way I don't have to do that later on when I get it, because sometimes, I'll be honest, I forget. Because when my bar fills up all the way, then we're gonna kick that fear. I don't want to let them fear my friends here. That even rhymed, so you know it's true. But yeah, sometimes I just forget to drag the abilities from my talents onto my bars. Sometimes it's automatic, but sometimes it bugs out. Like if I have a full first bar, it doesn't actually add it to my bars, which can be annoying, because then I spend like a few levels playing without an ability that could have made my life a lot easier, such as, I don't know, anti-magic shell. So I just put it there. As soon as I have it, I can start using it. I really wish you could do that with abilities from the spell book too. That would be really nice. These guys also cast a fear. I'm gonna look to kick that like so. There we go. Somebody did get feared, I think, but it doesn't matter too much. As long as it's not me, I don't care. And if it is me, I usually have Lichborn up because I don't use it much. I did use it while I was like in the first few levels where I didn't have Bone Shield or any real defensives or anything. I actually used Lichborn because I could turn on Lichborn and then Death Coil myself to heal myself. So you can send Death Coil at undead allied units to do healing, right? So I just used that to heal myself because it heals a lot. It heals way more than Death Strike early on, so it's kind of useful that way. Now we have to go use 5 Enduring Mojo over here, and there's like a flask or something. There it is, Drak'Tharon's elixir. My UI is preventing me from using it, but if I put it on an action bar, I can actually use it. That's a bug I've been experiencing with my action bars for quite a while now, and I can finally get anti-magic shell. I'm quite happy about that because it lets me ignore some certain debuffs that are a bit annoying. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for Drak'Tharon to do his whole little RP thing where he looks over Drak'Tharon Keep and talks to us for half an hour. So I'll talk to you when that's done.
One eternity later.
There we go. Finally, I can turn this in. Huh, it actually gets me some boots, and they're what an upgrade from 19 to 92 item level. And I'm going to teleport out of the dungeon and teleport back into it like so. Turn in the rest of my quests and then be on my way. And I guess I'll talk to you in the level 30 dungeon. And here we are in the Temple of the Jade Serpent. Unfortunately, that means we don't get all of the quests done because people kind of want to skip the one side, because there's no reason to do it. You can just run through. But what you can do is one time you can go one side, and then the next time you can go the other side, and you can get your quest done if you do this multiple times. So we're in Mistspin area because, like I said, I want to go to different runs or different expansions for every dungeon that I do record for this video. This time it's Mistspin area. I'm actively avoiding showing any TBC dungeons because, like I said, I've done those 100 times. So we're starting to decently flesh out our talents. We have just about everything we want. We are still missing grippy hands, but we'll get grippy hands eventually. Our job here is to make sure these corrupt living waters, or rather the little things that pop out of them when they die, that they die far away from this center circle. The reason being, they will spawn a permanent sort of zone on the ground that is big dam. So you don't want to stand in that. Just trying to hold aggro, make it come over here. That's good. Grab aggro on these guys and make them die over here. Obviously, it's not overly important because MOP dungeons are notoriously easy. People run them. They're actually quite efficient for leveling as well, especially Temple of the Jade Serpent. People really like to spam it. If you have a level 10 in the group or something, you can keep them until the level 15. You will mostly get this dungeon because I think the only other one is... Is there another one? I'm not even sure. Oh, okay. We've already killed it before these guys have even cleared out. Cool. But yeah, if you have a Lobby in the group, you can just keep spamming this, and it's super efficient because you basically have to kill 3 bosses, but it really feels like 2. I'm gonna do a big old pull here, and we're gonna just hope that people can kind of keep up and help keep me alive. I have my Dancing Rune weapon available. We're gonna use Empiric Blood as I gather. I'm going to run out of my D&D because matters more than my D&D is just grouping up all the mobs. Okay, and now we're going to run away, kite the mobs. There we go. Got some Death Strikes in. All of the mobs have the blood plague thing on them, which means all of them are healing me, but the healer's not healing me. Healer's just trying to get here. I overdid it, but I think the group might pull through. Oh, the healer is level 11. That could be part of the reason why we didn't survive this, I think. Okay, well, I overdid it. I tried my best. Probably should have dropped my anti-magic shell. I wasn't thinking about the anti-magic shell because I only recently got the talent, to be honest with you. We were still somehow in combat. I think there were some dots or something that kept the other people in combat, but that means I get to loot this boss. But hey, it's not the D&V tanking experience without overpulling like an idiot in a leveling dungeon. To the OG peeps that watched the Druid series, you guys know what I'm talking about. I guess I didn't do enough mop dungeons to know what exactly I'm supposed to be doing. I have a message from Danny. Okay, well then, I'm just going to leave that without acknowledging it with words. And I'm staring her down. I'm looking at the desk next to mine, which is where she's sitting.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, this boss fight was extremely short. I guess that's because it doesn't have like a damage absorb thing, so you don't have to wait for a couple of waves of enemies to die. I'm not going to pull this boss until we are nice and positioned inside. I'm waiting for everyone to get inside of the gate. That's good enough. And now we can start the boss fight. Hopefully everyone is actually inside so that they don't get trapped outside. Good, they are. Beautiful. I really wish that pulp worked out. I should have probably used that. If I had used anti-magic shell, I think it would have worked out. That would have been a lot more fun than this. I think we have to kill our clones now. Hold on. I don't think I can taunt them, but maybe I can group them up. I don't know. Okay, people group them up enough. The healer's not dispelling anything, but that could literally be just because they can't, because they're level 11 or whatever. I don't know at what level they get their dispel thing, but it's not like it matters. And we can go turn in, I think, just one quest of the two that we picked up. Like I said, these are pretty quick, unless your tank decides to pull more than they can handle and die, which is what I did. But other than that, these are pretty quick. These are pretty quick. I didn't even get a full level though, but that's because I was barely into level 30, so I got as much as I could. Without many dungeon mob kills, it's hard to get a bunch of levels, and I was dead for a few of the kills in the big courtyard area, so I didn't get the kill EXP from those. But yeah, I'll talk to you in the level 40 dungeon. Day number 2 of leveling. I've moved on to, well, I'm level 40, and I've now moved on to whatchamacallit. What is this? Warlords of Draenor. I've mostly been doing TBC dungeons, to be completely honest with you, but yeah, we have someone who's an EXP loss because of some reason. They capped themselves at level 40. I guess they're farming Warforged gear. I'm gonna stand over here. The reason I'm standing here is because that way I can do this. There we go. Then everything's grouped up, and I am almost dead. I think I ran away from the healer a bit too much, which is ironic as a blood DK. But yeah, maybe I do need to death strike at least a little bit while I'm running around. Oh, okay, somebody ran ahead and thinks they can do this without a tank present. Maybe they should have thought this through a little bit more. It's the warlock along with a priest. It's a low B priest, so they might be spamming, what's it called? Oh, they think they're the tanks. Oh no, this is going to end in horrible. Actually, no, maybe it doesn't, because the priest can just spam Holy Nova, like you can see here. If they spam Holy Nova, they do a shit ton of damage, and they heal at the same time. They don't really heal me, because I'm stuck way back here, and I'm a slow-ass DK who can't catch up. But they heal themselves and their other friend. Wait, where are they? Okay, I need to get into the boss fight. I'm just trying to heal a little. I'm going to go and use Lichborn for healing. We've already killed the boss somehow. This is kind of insane, but I also got healed. I guess we just keep running. I hate runs like this. I knew I shouldn't have queued up for Dungeons of Draenor. Well, I guess, yeah, that is what it is. Dungeons of Draenor. Because there's almost always some person like this who's just farming gear for them, their twinkification. Okay, well, I'm going to slate these guys because those death blasts actually hurt. I don't think this is going to end well, but I guess we'll find out. These guys have probably been doing this for most of their day. I hate this. I actually hate this. That is a lot of casts in the background that I do not like. I don't know how to feel about this. I feel uneasy. I don't have grippy hands, so I can't really get these guys to us. I mean, I can't even death grip those guys with the void bolts. I guess I'll take a page out of their book and just run ahead. Screw it. If they can be dum-dums, I can be a dum-dum too. Yeah, you could just see that the priest is running in front of everyone and spamming Holy Nova. And I mean, I guess it works. I don't know. It's just really irritating because I get to run through the dungeon instead of actually doing something. The range on Mind Freeze is actually really nice because I just kicked that thing from downtown. I don't know why this person is at capped EXP. It doesn't really make sense to me. They're a warlock at level 40. Are warlocks good twinks? I have no idea. Because right now, the only thing twinking out is this priest blasting the DPS with Holy Nova. I'm trying to get to the boss. That way I could potentially make the spit drop. Where the hell is the spit? Oh, there's the corpse breath. Can I reach the boss from here? I can reach the boss from here. Very good. Oh no. I stood in the knockback while I was in the death thing, the corpse pile thing, whatever the hell it is, because I thought I wouldn't get knocked back. Incoming death blasts. I don't like death blasts. I'm gonna try and D&D on those guys in the back. This is such a cluster pluck. The inhale is not getting anyone because people are standing in the thing. I'm just gonna chill back here and actually kill these guys because they're really annoying, just peppering us with casts from the back. And I don't know how it's gonna work out when I don't really do that much damage, do I? Well, screw it, leave them in the back. I'll loot this and head towards the next boss. Or I won't loot that, I guess, because it's just gonna despawn on me. Cool. If I got any loot, I'll get it in a mailbox. This is frustrating as hell because I'm slow as hell. I guess it was a mistake to go and fight the two casters in the back. But at least these guys are forced to wait for like 3 seconds while they kill these two big mobs. Oh, Big Wig's actually skipped the cutscene. I like that. And we have thingy thing, dancing rune blade weapon thing. I keep forgetting what it's called exactly. This guy's avoiding us or evading us or whatever. It's one of the two casters that I tried to kill while they were behind us. And there we go. Get me the hell out. I don't want to see these guys ever again. What an absolute shit show of a run. I hated every moment of that. I guess I'll see you at level 50. Okay, this time we're gonna go for Legion dungeon. Hopefully there's more. Okay, there's a lot of people coming for this, but I did want to show you that I've been selling stuff on the auction house that I've been gathering up. You see there's some stuff here. I've also been saving some BOEs that I don't have the appearance of. The reason I know I don't have the appearance is this little star icon from Can I Mog It? Obviously these are cloth mail and a bow and a shield and stuff like that that I can't actually equip on this character, but I'm keeping them so I can send them to other characters and learn it. I'm also going to put this stuff on the auction house and try to make some gold. Now let's go into a Legion dungeon. We have Eye of Azshara. Let's see if there's somebody who wants to run all the way ahead. Oh no, this is already in progress, isn't it? Okay, great. Well, since there's no quests, I don't really care. And there's also no big juicy pulls to do here, so this is a little bit disappointing. I think Burning Crusade dungeons are probably the best dungeon for me to run, not just because of EXP, but because there's always big pulls to do. Because a lot of these dungeons are just kind of boring. There's no big pulls. There's no like huge groups of mobs, nothing. You just kind of go. Looks like the group's engaging the boss. At this point, I have the majority of the whatchamacallits talents that I would like. I was supposed to stand on the ground, and the next one's going to have me stand in the water, so I'm just going to get in the water right away. But yeah, I have pretty much all the talents I would like to have, and it's pretty easy to survive just about anything in these lobby dungeons just for leveling. I can walk into giant groups of mobs and just press a couple of cooldowns one after another, and I should be just fine, which is fun. I've also played a bit of Prot Warrior recently, and I've really enjoyed Prot Warrior. You're basically immortal as long as you know how to keep your shield block up, which is not too hard, especially with like a proper set of WeakAuras that helps you out. All of which, I will say again, are available on the D&V community Discord, so you can go ahead and grab those if you feel like it. The link to the Discord is always in the description of the video. Okay, I need to make sure I stand in melee range, otherwise he's gonna spit at my friends, and I don't want him to sit at my friends. Okay, so we have a hunter with a pet that has thingy thing with the stuffy stuff. Growl turned on. Now, by default, Growl will turn off automatically when you enter a dungeon. However, that has been pretty buggy. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but basically it's on even though it doesn't show as on. The reason I think it might be a feature is because if the thing's on, maybe that's a way for a tank to not get like one shot because the pet takes aggro off of one thing or another. But it could also just be a bug where it doesn't actually properly turn off. Although in higher level dungeons, it does properly turn off. And I just got seagulled. No, not like the YouTuber, just the seagull actually pecked my eye, and that made me disoriented, which made it everything hit the other people, but there's nothing else pulled but the seagull. If this dungeon never comes back, people are gonna learn what getting seagulled means. I'm gonna use Path of Frost so I don't have to dip into this water and slow down. There's not much else we need to pull in this dungeon, just a couple of giants that were up to no good. I need to stop making that joke, but they were making trouble in my neighborhood. I'm going to ignore this snail. There's no reason to kill it. I'm just going to keep running. There is a pack of mobs that you do run into, and that is the pack of mobs. We're going to immediately drop D&D on them, try and get some bone shield. I'm not going to use anything. Actually, I may as well use my weapon, Dancing Rude Blade. I want to make a habit of like whatchamacallits, having it up as much as possible. It's better to build that habit now than to have to build it later on when it actually matters. It's actually a extremely low cooldown. It says 2 minutes, but every time Bone Shield charge is taken off of you, so every time you get hit, the cooldown is lowered by 5 seconds, and you'd be surprised just how quickly you can get that thing back up. That's what she said. Danny's trying her best not to say anything on the side right now. Yeah, after this, the next dungeon I do will be at level 60, and I think for that I will use whatchamacallits, a Dragonflight dungeon. So I'll do one Dragonflight dungeon at level 60 and one at 69 where I will hit 70 in that dungeon. Okay, there we go. That's the giants, and now the giant boss. There we go. I already have my Dancing Runeblade back up, and I can go big pew pew. You see the dog keeps freaking taunting off me. Lightning Paw. Look, Lightning Paw, I know you have a thing or two to prove, but could you please stop? Oh, there's a seagull. No, I'm gonna slow the seagull down. I don't want to get hit by it. If I get hit by the seagull, I might get my eye pecked, and if I get my eye pecked, that I might lose aggro. But to be honest, now between the there's the disorient. Between the earth elemental and the seagull and the pet, I basically never have aggro. So all this healing I do is for nothing. But it's fun. And we have to kill all of these guys that are, or gals or whatever, that are channeling into El Jefe. I'm just gonna interrupt that and move towards the next group. Now I'm probably gonna lose aggro here in a second to lightning foxtail thing, whatever, the pet, but it doesn't matter. I held aggro long enough to, or we're gonna kick that polymorph. I don't want to get polymorphed. I'll get turned into a frog. But yeah, I kept aggro long enough to make sure that nobody really gets hurt, so that's all that matters. I'm to try and refresh my bone shield stacks. You see I have a little indicator here. Again, all the WeakAuras are available on the DNV community Discord. I'll make sure I upload them. I think I'm going to consolidate all of the different classes into one WeakAura or one group of WeakAuras, then you can have the DNV WeakAuras. And if you don't like any, like for a specific class, if you have a different set that you use, you can just delete the ones that you don't want. And we have Dancing Runeblade available for this boss. Just gonna DPS it down, and that'll be that for this dungeon. This might actually get me 2 levels. That could be cool. Oh no, I'm gonna use Magic Shell. Oh, that didn't do shit. I thought I had whatchamacallits, Death's Advance, then I don't get knocked up, just get hit by it and take the damage, but I don't get knocked up. And that is another dungeon done, and level 51, almost 52. Pretty nice, actually. I guess I'll talk to you once I put stuff on the auction house and go level up to 60, and I'll talk to you in a Dragonflight normal dungeon. And here we are at level 60. I'm decided to rock the infinite look. I don't know, I just like it. I've been using the Algeth'ar Stormrider for quite a while now. I figure I switch back to this track. I haven't favorited it because I don't feel like switching to infinite on every character, so I just put that on my bars instead of my summon random favorite mount thing. And I'm rocking the infinite hand, of course, along with the infinite recolor of that Zandalar? No, Zaralek Cavern. Zandalar Cavern. Anyway, now that we're level 60, we can rock Dragonflight dungeons. We can also finally make use of these bags. Why? Because I don't actually have the item level required to queue for random dungeon from Dragonflight. I can only do BFA ones, and I really don't want to do that because it's not efficient. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up all of these bags. Oh, look at that rain of loot. Oh my goodness. There's something very satisfying about this. Also, it's kind of decent gold. Like each of these pieces, 20-ish gold, something like that. It's not bad. So let's equip all of them, and then we'll see what kind of loot, or sorry, what kind of stats I can get out of it. I think crit mastery is like the best thing you can get on a DK, or a blood DK, I should say. But I really, really like haste. So maybe mastery haste for now. Alrighty, we have made use of everything, which included a belt, boots, 2 rings, a wrist, and I think that's pretty much it. Nothing else really useful because I have heirloom gear for pretty much every other slot other than gloves, but I don't think I've gotten any gloves. I did get gloves. Look at that. 20 item level upgrade. And I have to do the transmog again, but that's not a big deal because I've got all of my off pieces upgraded to 194 item level, so I'm pretty happy about that. We're just going to reapply the infinite transmog set. I really like it. I'm wondering whether I should run that cloak I like, this one, because it's like in 2 parts. It's not so annoying. I think I will actually. Yes, let's run the cloak. There we go. Now I'm quite happy with how I look. I also have all of my cooldowns basically that I want to have. I don't have Empower Rune Weapon yet because I do need to get some more talent points. Not 100% sure I can reach it. I might have to drop Acclamation, or actually no, I'll move Permafrost into Acclamation because then I can use Icebound Fortitude more often. 60 seconds less cooldown on it is pretty nice. It's a 30% DR after all. And I think that'll come in more handy than getting a bit of an absorb shield from permafrost. I don't know, we'll see. I know that the builds usually have permafrost, and then permafrost talent is what you can kind of move around to grab something you want, like anti-magic zone or something like that. I don't really want anti-magic zone because that's just another thing for people to stand outside of when they should stand inside of it. So I think I'd rather have acclamation than permafrost, but I'll see how much I need Icebound Fortitude. I don't think I need it that much. We'll see. I'm getting ahead of myself. What I should do is I should queue up for a not BFA but Dragonflight dungeon. Alrighty, our first dungeon is going to be Neltharus. I have not missed this dungeon. I think I'll go left first because I don't really expect people to do the pick with, what are they called, with the chains. Talk about those chains more in actual M+ runs. In normal runs, they're not particularly necessary or unavoidable or anything like that. All right, drop D&D, Tombstone, these bad boys. Oh, and I have Grippy Hands, so we're gonna run Grippy Hands as well. Very nice. Blood Boil does most of our AoE damage here. Hard Strike's also really good. And we want to use Death Strike to not cap out on Runic Power while still dealing a bazillion damage. I said that in a weird way, and then I said it in an even weirder way to make fun of myself. There we go. I think I'm going to just pull straight to boss, so I'm going to drop a D&D on these guys to get some damage on them, then I'm going to Blood Boil them to leave the dot on them, and then I'm going to continue running for my life. It's highlighting these as if I can remove those. Am I stupid? Can DKs do that? Maybe as a Blood Elf. I don't think DKs can consume magic. That's a Demon Hunter thing. I'm going to run up slightly so that I activate this RP, and now I can stand here and actually fight my enemies. I can use my Dancing Rune Blade weapon thing again, and I can use Tombstone again, so I'm going to do so. I'm making sure that I have more than 5 stacks of, what's this thing called? Bone Shield. That way I can lower the cost of my D&D. Or sorry, not my D&D, my Death Strike. I said D&D because that's what I was casting. These guys are basically dead. I'm going to move on towards the boss, trying to make this nice and fast for my group. So I'm going to pew pew using Death's Caress. Why? Because that way I can actually reset my count or my timer on the Bone Shield. It's important to keep my Bone Shield up. If you don't do that, you might just get boned. Yes, I did just make that pun, and I apologize. I'm not going to use my Dancing Rune weapon here because this is going pretty quickly. Everyone's sort of DPSing this, so I don't really have to do anything special. I should move the boss out of these puddles on the ground. Volatile Mutations coming out. This is when the healer has to do big HPS, when it's Tyrannical weak, and the group has to use defensives. Okay, moving on from this. Hopefully the mage gives me slow fall. If not, I'll just have to run and jump to the left. Mage is blinking forward but not using slow fall. Hopefully they use slow fall on me. Use it on me, use it on me, use it on me. No, he's being selfish. Okay, I'm going to plummet to the depths. It'd be very ironic if the mage gave me slow fall now, but I trusted you, Negrudafum. That's a weird name. I've never seen something like that before. But yeah, these over here, the chains, those are very useful. And now that we have the ping system, maybe we can actually show people where to use them. I don't really think so, but we'll see. We'll find out. Soon I'll have another Death's Advance and I can move around more quickly. For now, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to interrupt that, and then I'm going to move forward. I'm going to use Death's Advance and try and get to all the way in front of the boss room. I think that'll actually be perfect. I'm going to use Vampiric Blood here because I'm going to get pummeled a bit here. I'm going to Death Grip that, and I'm going to walk in here, and I'm going to Death's Caress those over there. I'm going to use Dancing Rune Weapon and Slappy Hands and everything. I'm going to drop D&D right here where I'm standing. I'm going to ping these chains over here, and hopefully people use those. It's okay. They don't have to. I can't actually click it. Did they remove the ability to use chains? Am I stupid? I might just be stupid. I didn't read patch notes, so if they remove those, I don't know. I can't interrupt this, unfortunately, because I used an interrupt to interrupt a healing spell. Yeah, you can't actually interact with these. That's so weird. I guess they added that or changed that, which I kind of like and don't like because it did kind of feel bad to do big pulls just to use the chains on them. Let's see, groups all inside. We can pull the boss, and I can use my Dancing Rune weapon again. I guess I didn't use it during that pull. There's no chance I got it back up this quickly. Fun fact, Blood Boil actually deals more damage than Heart Strike, as far as I know, in single target. So you're better off using that if you don't need the Runic Power from Heart Strike, which you probably do because Runic Power from Heart Strike lets you use more, whatchamacallit, Death Strikes, and Death Strikes do a lot of damage. Now here I need to drag the boss through this. this so that fiery focus gets interrupted and the boss gets stunned. Very nice. The mage knows what's going on. They did that right away. On mythic difficulty or mythic plus, I don't know, you can actually, whatchamacallit, my brain just lagged a bit. You actually have 3 of those that you need to deal with. Like there's 3 chains, so it goes out on 3 people and you need to break all 3 in order to actually stun the boss. Oh, you can interact with the chains. That's weird. I couldn't interact with the one that was in front of the boss. Very interesting. I'm going to grab the birdies that are up there and then we're going to try and group up over here around the chains. I'm going to have grippy hands in a little bit. Here we go, grippy hands. I'm going to activate the chain. Everything's kind of grouped up. We hit most of them with the chain. If other people use it, that'll be great. If not, that's still fine. We're going to use Tombstone to use up 5 stacks of our thingy. When you use them, it counts as enemies breaking them. So Shattering Bone actually activates and does a bunch of damage. And if you're inside of your D&D, Shattering Bone does even more damage. So the WeakAuras that you saw pop up over here telling me to use it, dang it. It actually activates only when I'm standing in D&D and I have 8 or more stacks of Bone Shield. So it's safe to actually use it and you won't run out of Bone Shield after using your Tombstone. So I only ever use it when it's showing up over here, which sometimes leads to me not using it even though I have it off cooldown, but that's the price you pay to make sure that you use it at the right time. I'm not going to pull more than just this because there's 4 casters in here and moving them around is a little bit of a pain in the ass. I will use my Dancing Rune Blade or Rune Weapon. I keep forgetting what it's actually called. Weapon. It's not blade, it's weapon, which makes sense because I'm using a hammer, so it doesn't have to be a blade, does it? There we go. Murder this group and move on to the next one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop D&D on them, blood boil them to put the dot on them, and then move over to the left hand side where we will see 2 lava breakers, which we will have to pass at some point. And they're kind of not skippable because I think they can see through stealth, true vision. And I'm going to pull this commander. I'm going to pull the Iron Torch because I can actually move the Iron Torch. Don't know if you can do that in a M+ run or not. I don't think, actually I think you can move the Iron Torches because you can stun them and stuff. There's going to be a big pull coming up after this. I'm going to save my Dancing Rune Weapon for that. As you can see, Dancing Rune Weapon comes up extremely often. Maybe I did use it before the first boss, or was that the second boss? It was the second boss. The first boss was the elephant. But yeah, I'm gonna do a big pull over here, or maybe I even do a stupid pull over here. But then again, most of my pulls are stupid. I think I'll do that, yeah. I'm going to jump down after I drop D&D on these guys to get some aggro. We're gonna Death's Caress that over there, and then we'll walk up to these guys. And I'll stand right here, because I think that'll force him to get line of sighted. Grippy hands, drop my thingy thing, Tombstone, because I'm in D&D with 8+ stacks of Bone Shield. Okay, everything's grouped up. We have Blinding Sleet. That did something, I think. I don't even know if anything was casting anything. Going to Death Grip that to group them all up. Very nice. That was a very good pull. It was a stupid pull. And you shouldn't do this on M+. Unless it's like a shit key. Sorry, pardon my French, a very low key, let's put it that way. I'm hoping to avoid pulling that group, but if I do, I should be ready to like grip them and taunt them to make sure that the group doesn't get messed up. Now I'm going to get knocked back here in a little bit from heated strikes. Okay, heated swings, whatever. Okay, I wait for the circle and then I move out of it. There we go. Because if you start moving out of it, then he drops the circle closer to where he will end up, which is in the middle. I'm going to use my Dancing Rune Weapon again because I can. Okay, this thing has a way lower cooldown than I expected it to have, honestly. That's sick. I'm trying to get used to using it as often as possible. I think I might set up a WeakAuras to remind me to use it because it really comes up more often than I expected it to. And there we go, that's another boss down. I don't have blacksmithing, so I can't actually grab that. You need Dragonflight blacksmithing 25 to get that. And it's really good to use on the last boss during the damage amp. The damage amp happens when the last boss is, whatchamacallit. Hold on, trying to Death's Caress that lava slime. Oh, I didn't manage to. I was trying to get some Bone Shield stacks to reset, but I was unable to. But yeah, you should use it on the damage amp on the last boss. When you stun the boss after you break the shield, that's when you have a like it takes extra damage. I don't know how much more damage, but it's always worth dropping all your damage into it. Even though it's a short window, I don't think it's even longer than 10 seconds. I take a bunch of damage here, but it doesn't matter. I'm a blood DK. And now we run this way. I don't know where that person's going, but they might just be new. Do I drag this group into the next? I don't think I should because the birds are going to start knocking us back a bunch. And I don't think that'll make for a fun experience. I'm using my Dancing Rune Weapon so I can use it again on the boss. Even though there's going to be a big-ish pull coming up after this, I'll use my Grippy Hands for that. I've macroed just about everything into Grippy Hands. I think I use my, whatchamacallit. I use Raise Dead. I will use Empower Rune Weapon once I have it. And I also use my Ancestral Call. So whenever I use Grippy Hands, I use all of my cooldowns, basically. Make sure I maximize my damage. All right, D&D, Grippy Hands, and go to town on these bad boys, I guess. I can't actually grip those guys in the back. They're immovable, partially because they're giants, partially because I think they're level 71 enemies, so you can't stun them either. Trying to make sure that I interrupt the molten army. I can't actually do that if my cooldown's on. If my interrupt is on cooldown. I'm gonna try and taunt these and grip them in so people can DPS them down. Molten army summons these little lava spawns or whatever. They're not particularly dangerous, but if you let a lot of them spawn in, it can waste a bunch of your time, especially on fortified week. But luckily this is a normal dungeon, so we don't have that issue. And we have dancing rune weapon again available for the boss. I'm going to use it right off the bat. I can use tombstone because using dancing rune weapon actually gives you 5 stacks of bone shield, so that put me over the limit that I set of 8, making it safe for me to use. Molten gold is coming out. It's going on the warrior. Nothing I can do about that. It's kind of nice to play a class that can't do anything for anyone else. Like, I just kind of sit here and beat the shit out of it. I'm going to chains of ice the add, that way it doesn't reach the intended target, whoever it's fixating on. We're going to chains of ice it again, make sure it's nice and safe. Magma shield is coming through. I guess we have to go and use these. Never mind, we just broke through it with sheer dumb strength. I like it. I'm gonna run over to the entrance of the dungeon, or I guess I could teleport out and teleport back in. That's probably faster because there is a quest to turn in and I may as well get that extra EXP. And I get a ring that's 52 item levels higher. Jesus. Okay, cool. We're going to use that ring then. And that was pretty dang fun. I actually had a lot of fun doing that run. I kind of miss Neltharus now. Well, actually, never mind. I don't miss wiping because somebody body pulls, or wiping because people don't know how to heal enough during the Forge Master. But I do miss the big pulls. The big pulls were always fun. Anyways, I'm going to talk to you once I'm almost level 70s. I'll show you the last dungeon I do in which I hit level 70, hopefully. And Algeth'ar Academy is the last dungeon I'm going to do while leveling this character. Very nice. A good one to end on. I was hoping it wouldn't be Neltharus again. We're going to grab the mastery buff from here because I feel like that'll be the most useful. I got a good chunk of haze from my gear. I don't have all that much mastery, and mastery is quite nice. We're going to go left first because I feel like that just works the best. It's the quickest. I don't have to care about percentage, obviously, in a normal dungeon, so I can just skip as much trash as I'd like. Won't really skip everything because I'm gonna shoot a death coil at that thing, make sure I get my way. Oh, I got bounced back. Got a death strike a bit, so I make sure I survive, and now everything's going to group up on me. I am asleep. I need to survive. Okay, that proc just about everything I had. We're gonna use grippy hands, death strike. We need to generate a bunch of runic power here. I got put to sleep because I didn't use my anti-magic shell, and there were no other allies nearby for me to misdirect that sleep into. Are people even here? People are not even here. Where the hell did people go? They were fighting the first 3 mobs at the start that I pulled instead of running with me. And I've used absolutely everything except for Icebound Fortitude apparently, so that's something. Well, maybe they wait for me now. That was disappointing. Oh, okay. These mobs didn't even reset, so I can just keep running then, I guess. I'm getting my ass whooped. They're just gonna stop and fight the first. It's like I'm... Okay. Stay calm. It's a normal dungeon. These people are maybe leveling their first level 70 character ever. So I just... Namaste, you know, take it easy. Oh, yep, they're coming along now. They realize they don't need to stop and fight the first mobs that, you know, that I pull. This time we're going to go ahead and use anti-magic shell so I don't get put to sleep. And we are going to pay extra attention to our health because we're not being healed all that much. I need to heal myself. I am a blood DK. That's what I do. We're going to use Vampiric Embrace so that we get a bunch of extra healing. And we have Dancing Rune Weapon, and this pull is basically over. It goes a lot better when you don't run in here alone, because your group decides to stop and fight 2 mobs at the start of the dungeon. Whew, okay, that really took it out of me, because usually that run is a lot smoother because people just keep running with you when they see that you keep running. I've done this like 4 or 5 times. I've done a lot of normal dungeons to get to 70, and I'm glad this is going to be my last one because I'm not tired of the dungeons per se. I'm tired of how boring they are in a sense, because it is pretty boring to just one-shot everything. Like, I can pull half the dungeon and survive. Well, apparently not, but I can pull half the dungeon and survive if people follow me. But yeah, it's been fun playing Blood DK. I feel pretty immortal for the most part, but I think what really got me there was getting put to sleep. Oh, a platinum star band. That's my second one. I was kind of hoping partially to get the, what's it called? The Vault of The Azure Vault, that one. Many vaults. There's a Vault of Stars. There's an Azure Vault. The Great Wardens or Warden's Vault of the Wardens. There's a lot of vaults in World of Warcraft, and this is one of them. But I was hoping that the Azure Vault would be the last dungeon I do, because then I have a chance of getting the last ring I need to get the auto mount that you can get with the rings. If you didn't know, there's a mount you can get for just turning in 3 different rings. I don't think you need to be any specific rep with the Tuskarr or anything like that. You just need to have the 3 rings. There's 3 that you can get from the raid, and there's 3 that you can get from dungeons, according to Danny. She's the source of this knowledge for me. Lots of damage coming in from the Evoker. I like to see it. I think they're a fresh 70 or a fresh 60, if not 61. Let me see here. 63. Okay, yeah, they're still low in the HP department, so I thought they might be a 60 or 61. There we go. That's taken care of. Quite nice with grippy hands, actually. The boss fights are kind of the more boring part, I guess, because the boss fights, there's really no chance I die during a boss fight unless I get knocked off the map or something. But the pulls I can make big enough to make them actually dangerous. Now, I really do hope I get to hit, whatchamacallit, level 70 by the end of this dungeon. That'd be very nice, because if I don't, I'm going to have to do another one. But that actually gives me another chance to do the Azure Vault, so that's not so bad. I really need to look up the tactics for these dungeons, because I don't actually know what the bosses do, because they usually die before they're able to cast like any sort of significant ability. I'm familiar with the season 2 ones. If they don't change too much, I kind of know what they do. But the season 1 M+ dungeons, I'm really unfamiliar with. I think I did Algeth'ar once on like a +2 or something, so I can't say I'm exactly experienced with it. I'll have to look up probably Quasi's guides. He's my go-to guide maker. Oh, our rogue just got launched. Our healer got launched off the platform. Apparently wasn't really ready for that one. Need to watch Quasi's guide. I hope they release, or they can just, you know, stay dead. I don't know. I don't have a way to res them, and I'm not going to use a battle res if it's not necessary. I don't know if I can even battle res them. You can release. There we go. I'll type that out. Maybe that prompts them to do so. Or they just gave up. Okay. they just gave up. That's fine. I get healing blood decays is frustrating. Although I don't yo-yo that much. Well, maybe on the first pull I did yo-yo. But that was because, you know, reasons. It was a juicy, big old pull. I love this tombstone WeakAuras that I have set up. Oh, the druid released. Very nice. Oh, there they are. But yeah, I like the tombstone WeakAuras because it basically guarantees that I only use it in the optimal circumstances. Although it also kind of makes me forget about the ability, so I never really use it defensively. I use it only offensively, because the optimization that I have with the WeakAuras is basically make it do the most amount of damage by standing in D&D. The other part of the WeakAuras is basically making sure that I don't use it and waste all of my bone shield stacks. It's supposed to leave me some stacks of my bone shield. I'm gonna lose my bone shield here before the boss activates, I think. I'm mashing a button. Nah, I lost it, but that doesn't matter too much. I have my dancing rune weapon, so I can just drop that. I'm gonna save my what are they called? Grippy hands, because I would like to use that on the big pull before the last boss. Looking at my AXP bar, I'm not too optimistic about pulling this off and leveling to 70 in this run, but we'll see how it works out. I wonder if you have to actually, well, I'm assuming you have to use these orbs in the whatchamacallit, in the M+ version of this. I don't actually know what they do. I know that the fire ones stun the bird, but I don't know what the wind ones do, so that's why I'm throwing stuff into the wind one to see what it does. I think it pushes you around, sort of. Does it give us any kind of buff? I'm not seeing it. Oh, maybe if I grab this. Oh, if I pick up the Gale Force, then it don't get moved around. Does it give me any kind of buff? I can't really see. Well, maybe I'll find that out in Quasi's guide. So sure as hell can't figure it out on my own. I should probably look up at the dungeon journal, but I just don't care, because for normal dungeons, you could probably walk in here with 0 game knowledge and kind of get away with it. And that's what normal is meant to be, just a chill time in dungeons, doing some group activities. Hopefully the Evoker doesn't blow his load as soon as he sees some enemy mobs, because he might rip aggro off me while I'm still grouping, and that wouldn't be very good for his health bar. Okay, now we're going to do grippy hands, and we're going to go over here. That way they can't actually reach me without coming around the corner, which will group them all up. I'm going to death grip that. There's another one that is on other people. Need to death strike. We're going to do sleet here to reduce the damage that the group's taking, because they're getting their butts whooped. Okay. We worked it out. And there's one more arcane missiles guy in the outside, but I can't actually get to him. I'm gonna interrupt him, make him move over, and all is well. Seem to have a message from the missus. Let's see what it is this time. Is this definitely not Vlad or Quasi Fanboy Channel? Oh, the warrior pulled for me. Let's see, does he tank as well as I do? Let's watch, let's observe. They seem to be a little bit squishier than I am. Oh, I'm not going to let this evoker die because of this warrior's problems. Now, if I'm lucky, I'm going to get enough experience. It looks like I will. I'm going to get some 50,000 experience for finishing this. I can't actually see what the reward is here, but I think I will ding from this. So this is indeed the last dungeon of normal dungeons that I will do normally on this DK as I level in normal dungeons of Dragonflight. What? But hopefully that's ding 70. Get me out of here. I am done. She says, go get it, Stutter King. I love you too, babe.
Congratulations on 70.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyway, I'm not going to do any quest lines or anything because it's still season 3 as I hit level 70. It is Sunday evening, just about to turn into a Monday. So I'm going to record next on Wednesday, and I'm going to try and get some early gearing done. I'm going to see if we can still do the trick that we do when you run around and you grab all these, what are they called? Dream Surge Coalescence things, because if they still give the Whelpling crests, you can basically get your, gear yourself out in 480 something gear as soon as you hit level 70. I have 12.8k gold. I can send myself gold if I need to, but with 12.8k gold I can get most of the crafting done myself. Currently sitting at 313 item level. It's probably not going to change much. If I can craft gear, I will just skip straight to 480 something, 470 something, but I'll tell you more about that in the next episode. This episode was all about leveling. I feel like I also learned a little bit about Blood DK while I was doing this, and one of the things is you do kind of need people to follow you in the dungeon instead of fighting 3 mobs at the beginning of a dungeon while you fight the 25 mobs that you pulled afterwards. But that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, let me know what you liked about it in a comment. If you had fun, make sure you subscribe because there's more episodes coming. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can become a channel member. Channel members have guaranteed replies to their comments, and they get nice little shout outs at the beginning of the video. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Man, of course, in the last dungeon I have to embarrass myself.